Okay, thank you for being with us today. My name is Paul Tifo, and I'm an associate professor of English here at Springfield College, and I'm also chair of the Department of Literature, Writing, and Journalism. I'm joined by three of our top students here in the English program, and this session is just going to be a really casual opportunity for actual real live students to tell you a little bit about Springfield College and our program. If this is something that you're considering doing, coming in and joining us in the fall, I encourage you to reach out to me and send me an email. I think I've emailed with a lot of people who've been accepted for the fall, so you have my email, and I'm looking forward to talking with you. So without further ado, let's get to the main event here. So I'm joined by Moria, Rowan, and Joe, and maybe if we could go around the room, beginning with Moria, if you could just tell the people watching your name, your class year, and then maybe any minors or other extracurricular activities that you're involved in at the college. And I can repeat that list if you need when it's your turn.
No, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Maura. I am a current sophomore here at Springfield College. I am in the English and elementary education program here. And some other things I'm involved with. I am a pre-camp leader. I am a student ambassador, and I am a site leader for the Partners program. So, yeah.
Thanks, Maura. Before we even move on, could you say a little bit more about what some of those things are? What's student ambassador?
Yeah, absolutely. So pre-camp first, the one I stated first, is a pre-orientation program. So if you decide to come to Springfield College, which I really hope you do, you get to move in a couple days earlier than your other first year class. And we actually at Springfield College have another location called East Campus where it's just all woods. It's absolutely beautiful. So you get to spend a few days there, and it's just an opportunity for you to get comfortable with who you are and who you want to be here at Springfield College. So it's an awesome program. Definitely highly recommend looking into it. But so that's the first thing. A student ambassador is just a tour guide here at Springfield. So every week I get to show off this awesome school to prospective students and families. And I'm also a site leader for the Partners program. So the Partners program is an after-school program for local Springfield elementary students, and we do just fun activities with them. They get to come to the dining hall here and eat dinner with us. So it's an awesome, super fun program, which is also another opportunity for you to get involved here on campus.
Awesome. Thanks, Maura. And as Maura's description bears out, our students tend to get really involved here on campus. We're really at kind of the center of a lot of major operations, as these folks will make clear. Next on my screen here is my friend Joe Rotundo. Joe, can you tell us, well, I guess I already gave away your name, but you can tell us your name and class year and any minors or anything else you're involved with here at the college.
Sure. Hi. So yeah, I'm Joe Rotundo. I'm a junior here at Springfield College. I actually was part of the transfer program. I transferred here last fall, so it's been good. I'm definitely glad I came here. I'm part of the English major, but I'm not part of the education half of it. I'm just a straightforward English, so that's fun. I'm enjoying that a lot. The professors are great. Professor Tifo is fantastic, and so is Professor Lartigue and Justine Diamond, and a lot of other people. And I'm also a part of the Alden Street Review, which is our school's literary magazine. So Rowan, I'm sure, will be able to tell us more about that too, because he works with me there. And it's a great place to submit your like poems or short stories. And yeah, we just love hearing everything that you guys have to offer. And yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Joe. Yeah, so as Joe said, he was a transfer student and really hit the ground running here. I remember talking to you, Joe, the moment you got here in the office about future plans. And we really do encourage students from the moment they get here to think not only about their coursework, but what comes next after the 4 years here. And this is a really versatile major. So you have people like Maura who are intending to be teachers as they come out, and then other folks who are going into all other sorts of professional areas, knowing how to write and read and think and communicate clearly. These are skills that are in high demand perpetually and perennially to use two big words. Speaking of big words, our next guest is someone who likes to use them frequently in class. My friend and advisee, Rowan Beckett. Rowan, could you tell us, repeat your name and tell us your class year, and then anything else you've got going on here at the college?
Hello, sweetheart. I'm Rowan Beckett. I'm a junior, and it's obligatory. Every time I say that, I mention I'm getting old. I can't show you my gray hairs right now. And I am an English major. Again, just like Joe, plain English. And when I say plain English, I mean, we kind of bisect into English majors and English education majors. I happen to be on the other side of that line. I have a minor in philosophy. On campus, you'll find, as Joe mentioned, I'm an editor of the On the Street Review. We publish once a year. Like he said, we go through and we receive submissions from poems, short stories, narrative essays. It's really fun. I'm also part of the Honor Student Council. And in the Honor Student Council, we make deep and fatalistic decisions about the fate of not just the college, but the entire Northeast.
Thank you for that, Rowan. Since Joe and Rowan are both involved with ASR, which is our Alden Street Review, I'll just underscore something they said here. We have a literary magazine, which many colleges do. One thing that I think makes us stand out is that our editors are students. We have a faculty advisor, but this is a student editorial process. So if you're interested in a field like publishing or editing, you get some hands-on work with that the moment you get here, in addition to being able to submit your work in creative writing and photography and other great stuff like that. Nice physical printed book comes out every year. So thank you for that intro, everybody. I want to ask you, each of you, to maybe say a little bit more about how you wound up at Springfield College. How did you choose this college?
Sure, I could go first.
Take it more.
For me, I was really looking for a college that would not only challenge me to become a better learner, and like Professor Tipo was saying earlier, like becoming a better writer and thinker, and just like overall, like further my education that way, but also prepare me to be an educator. So for me, being at Springfield College, my English and education professors work really closely together to ensure that I am succeeding in both areas, but also succeeding cohesively between the two. So that really made Springfield stand out to me, just the way that the professors really do get to know you and care about you and challenge you and really want you to succeed in the future.
Thanks, Maura. And Joe, you came to us a little bit later down the road. What brought you here?
Well, there's a couple of things actually. For like bare bones, like economics and stuff, my mother got a job here, so that was a big factor in me coming here. But I'm really glad I did, of course. I'm as I've been here, I actually found that I've found more reasons for why I would have wanted to come here had I initially applied here. And the
ask an English major a simple question, you get a complex answer like that.
Right. Yeah, but pretty much, yeah. A big part of it was the faculty here. They're great people, like I said earlier, and I really appreciate the opportunities that the English program has here. And yeah.
Thanks, Joe. What about you, Rowan? How do you wind up on Alden Street?
I'm here because I'm a local to that area, and I wanted to stay local. So I really only, this is terrible, but I only applied to a few colleges that were not very far from where I lived, and Springfield College gave me the best deal. Well, once I set foot onto the campus, similar to Jones, like, wow, there are a lot of other good reasons. They said we're a small department and a small campus, and things are very, intimate and, humane here, at least in my experience.
Thanks for that. A key word that I think all of you are circling around is the smallness of our program. And I want to kind of explain or have you help me explain to future students what that means and why it's a good thing. I'm sure that the people watching, you've applied to colleges where you might be a student in a huge lecture hall, but you'll find here that every single one of the English faculty knows every single one of the English majors by name. Although I don't think I've had Maura in a course yet, I've had Joe and Rowan particularly in many courses. And when this pandemic is over, as it soon will be, you'll find that Weiser Hall, where I am at the moment, where we all hang out, is a hangout. It's a great place for students to come and meet one another, and you'll find fast friends, I think, immediately in the program. Maura said something I want to go back to, mentioning how if you're an English and education major, there's two sets of professors that you work with and how we work closely together. I'm wondering if you folks can explain to, imagining who you were a few years ago, some high school students, what is an advisor, and what do they do, and what's that all about? Anybody? Maura, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. So your advisor is a member or a faculty member of the department of your major. So for me, I have one for my education major and I have one for my English major. And they're there to first just make sure academically, you're doing okay, and guide you if you need any assistance in that realm. But they're also just there to make sure that you're taking the right courses. Every semester you'll meet with them and they'll kind of advise you on which courses you should take, which ones you're eligible to take, and just kind of map out your semester. But for me, I find it really helpful that they're willing to sit down and work with you long term. So I kind of want to do something a little like niche. So I sat down with both my advisors and they both worked together just to figure out the best way to make sure I get all my classes done in the 4 years, and graduate on time. But they're also just there if you need anything, if you need someone to talk to. Obviously, the pandemic has been really hard, and I've set up a couple Zoom calls with my advisors just to check in, just to make sure we're both mutually doing okay. So your advisor is there for you just as a whole person, both academically and emotionally. So yeah.
Great, thanks, Maura. Joe, students might be wondering, what are office hours?
Yeah, so office hours are, well, it's in the title, I suppose. They're there's these set amounts of time during the day on specific days where you can meet with your professor or your advisor or a member of the staff and just talk about, you can set aside time to talk about what's going on in your classes, if you're having issues with with some coursework, or if you need to just talk about maybe getting an extension on something, anything like that, or just to talk,
I'm going to pretend you didn't say that.
Right. Right. But the advisors and are great for office hours, and yeah, sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up.
No, we got you, Joe.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And Rowan, you're somebody who frequents office hours, and I think you can probably attest that it's all the things Maura and Joe said, but also it's also a space to talk about those ideas that we didn't get a chance to fully finish in classes.
Definitely. I think Maura had this brilliant, comprehensive explanation of what your advisor is, and how office hours. Joe had talked about office hours work. And I just want to say the kind of unspoken experience of it is that you're also your professor's ward. They don't know it, and you might not know it, but you're also their ward. It's a responsibility to make sure that everything in your life goes to plan. And when you just show up to their office with a problem, they will help you fix it. As my advisor knows this intimately.
Yeah, that's exactly par for the course. And just a couple of examples, because Rowan happens to be my advisee, is that because we're a small program, a lot of the opportunities that would traditionally fall to graduate students get to fall to undergraduate students here. So for instance, Rowan is an editorial assistant with the journal that I edit, which just came out this week. So Rowan already has his name in print, and he was instrumental in helping me write a book proposal, which got accepted, which I'm hoping he'll continue to help me with. So you really get to work closely with professors, and it's a really laid back environment in that way. And back to Maura's point about education, we're always really concerned too about where our students are going to teach and whether they're passing their MTEL exams and things like that. So you get a lot of support here if that's your cup of tea. The kettle's on. Some other questions that I might have for all of you. When things don't go great in your class for a moment, you're struggling academically, are there any support services on campus that you think students are aware of and that they use? Some of you actually do the helping. Well, I kind of can answer my own question there. I was just referring to academic support services where students can get free of charge tutoring. But I know Rowan, I'm not sure if Maura or Joe do this, but Rowan, you're a writing tutor yourself, right?
Yep. So we have, I'm sure this is something you'll be at least vaguely familiar with. I'm sure their high school south is sort of thing. It's much more common in my experience, at least at college, is that we have a little writing studio. It goes by various names again in other places, but essentially it's a program where we have incoming students taking, well, for their first year writing courses, and you come in, you meet once a week with a professor, and they usually have a student that's assisting them. Essentially, you're going through your papers, you're coming up with ideas of papers and things like that. And just like pretty much anything else I found in experience, is also a place of support, even outside of that class, help with other things, or, kind of what's going on in your mind. Unless I've been horribly mistaken in my orientation to the college, and I've just been putting all of my personal problems and concerns on everyone. But no one's complained to me, so I encourage you to do it.
Nice, Rowan. I'm sure, because I'm a fellow English major, so I'm sure everybody here in the room can remember that moment that you decided, wow, I think I really want to study literature and writing a bit more closely. I'm wondering if you're all willing to share what the book was for you. Was it a book when you were a kid? Was it something you read in high school? What got you hooked?
Well, for me,
Joe, take it away, Joe.
Right. So, well, for me, it actually shortly before I was actually a bio major before I switched to the English major, which, yeah, I definitely made the right choice. The book that did it for me was Grendel by John Gardner.
Nice.
I really love that book, and reading all the reading more about it online opened my eyes to like what John Gardner was really going for with it, and it's just expanded my mind to the world of literature. So.
And Joe, the people watching have probably in high school heard of or read Beowulf, right?
Right.
So I actually haven't read it. It's kind of a sequel?
It's sort of a sequel. It's like a philosophical, speculative sequel, spiritual thing. It's from, well, if you've read Beowulf, you know that's the first monster he fights is Grendel, the horrible pillager thing. And in Grendel, it's written from his perspective, and it just opens your mind to what might have been going on in the original texts thousands of years ago. So to me, that's just really wild, and that's why I became really passionate about literature.
Awesome. Maura, do you have a book that did it for you, either as a studier of literature or as a future teacher of it?
I honestly have been a book nerd since I was a kid. So both my brothers played baseball, and I'd always show up with a book in hand. So when I was younger, loved Harry Potter and the Hunger Games and all those different series. But I also found I loved just talking about books with my friends, and I loved like reading what they had to write and helping my friends edit their essays. So I definitely knew that teaching was in my future, but then I knew that also English was my concentration, just because I love reading and I love reading other people's work and helping other people work through their thoughts. So definitely since I was a kid. Couldn't say like one specific book since I was a kid, but I loved them all.
Nice. Thanks, Maura. What about you, Rowan?
It's funny. I didn't really realize I liked reading for a while. I just kind of read it. I guess it was a kind of refuge for me. That sort of thing. I wasn't the most outgoing or social person, so it was really comforting. I want to leave either my junior or I want to say actually my senior year of high school, and me dorking out and stuff like that. I heard about an author, James Joyce, and how difficult his writing was, and how pretty it was, and weird and unwieldy. And I'm like, that sounds fun. And so I read The Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, and it's an interesting book. It takes you from birth and weird lullaby-like language all the way to like the early adolescence of this main character, with a huge tract about hellfire in the middle, and that kind of flew through my head and kind of through my heart. I was concerned about a lot of things that got handled in it, and it offered a kind of, I think, redemption in the intimacy I think that comes with reading, and just at least I found with this sort of thing, and doing it with other people, having these conversations that are uncomfortable, having these conversations that take you to places you probably wouldn't have gotten to on your own.
Well put, Rowan. Thanks to all three of you. I want to kind of have just a sequel to that question. What's been your favorite thing that you've read here so far in the English major? And I'm not offended if it wasn't from one of my classes. Joe, what about you? You're a Poe guy, right?
Yeah, no, I really do enjoy Poe quite a lot. And actually, for one of my classes this semester, we just read The Cask of Amontillado,
Montiato, yep.
Amontillado, sorry. Right. And I remember having first read that back when I was like a wee lad, I was fifth grade or something. I really enjoyed it then. And so reading that brought that back. So I'd say that was probably either that or Moby Dick when in your class. That was a really good book too. So
Yeah, yeah. It can need all the help it can get, and got a bad rep sometimes. But yeah, that was a fun class. What about you, Maura?
I really liked reading Rip Van Winkle in your American Lit class last
Or in my class.
semester.
I'm sorry. That's right.
I just loved it and just the conversation we had beyond it, and how we kind of tied it into the course throughout the semester. So I definitely say that was my favorite.
Nice. What about you, Mr. Beckford?
Uh, I'm panicking trying to remember everything I've read, but doing it, two books came to my mind, so I guess it's the easiest thing to talk about. Is that one, Moby Dick? It's again, I don't know what Melville was on, but certainly something about it is humanistic and also anti-humanistic, and you should read it. But also American Pastoral, if you remember a couple years ago, we ended up reading your class, and I don't know what I've just done to my reputation by mentioning American Pastoral as one of my favorite books I've read here. But again, it was really funny.
We're not recording this.
Deeply uncomfortable. And I think, wistfully, even painfully cogent about, just being a person, or if you want more specifically, being an American as well.
Wistfully and painfully cogent. I knew you'd come up with the vocab for us, Rowan. Thanks, everybody. Maybe just to wrap things up, I'm wondering if you could maybe just say a little bit about how what would be some advice you might have for somebody who probably is finishing up high school at the moment. What's something that you maybe wish you had known before you got to college? Something that you could prepare at that level for, or maybe some of the differences between college level English classes or high school level, anything like that? Maura, any thoughts on it?
I would say definitely don't fear the change, accept the change. Obviously, it's a really big transition academically, socially, to come and decide to go to college, but Springfield College is truly another home away from home. So don't fear the unknown. You'll figure it out. The classes, you'll get used to it. The friends you'll make, the adjustments, you'll make them. So definitely don't fear the change.
Well put, Maura. Thank you. What do you think, Joe? Any advice for prospective students?
well, to be honest, my advice was going to be more along the lines of what Maura was saying, like, it's going to be okay. It is different, but it's something that you get used to. But I suppose for anyone who wants to switch into English or start out majoring in English, it's probably a good piece of advice to just try and enjoy what you're reading. Like, if it's much harder to enjoy and learn from things if you're not actively like happy with what you're learning. So take classes that interest you to try and figure out what it is you might want to do with your life, in a good way. And, yeah.
Before I turn it over to Rowan, I just want to underscore what Maura and Joe are saying, which I'll say to future students with complete honesty, is that this is a really positive place to come to school. There's a lot of positivity. Both of the students so far have given you advice that's really about attitude. And this is definitely the friendliest place that I've ever worked. And like I said, our program is small enough that you'll get to know the faculty and the students really well. Rowan, you any thoughts on advice for prospective students about coming to college or coming to the English program?
Well, try to make this kind of brief. I'd say have patience with yourself and have faith in yourself, as hard as those things are. And I've been joking about the other thing I want to say throughout this little meeting we've been doing, but really, really, really invest time into your community, whatever community that is, whether it's, people from your high school, whether it's, your family, the community that you'll find, here on campus. It's so worth it. I can't express how worth it is to reach into your community, just be closer to each other. There's so much you have to offer someone, and they have so much to offer you just by being there for each other.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank all three of you for being here. This was, in my view, wildly successful, as all three of you will be when you leave Springfield College. It's been great talking with you. I hope that you all watching this video will reach out if you want to come join our collective here of writers, scholars, editors, publishers, journalists. We're a fun bunch, and we hope that we'll see you in the fall. So take care, everybody.